seen some men who have stood up and who, even though they may not be shouting, but these are the ones who will readily say, I will support this cause. There have been some very good men. And equally so, it's not all of the women that we've encountered have been good. So let's lay that aside. As a community of faith, I always ask this question: where do everyone take refuge in their faith tradition? Whether it's a dictator, whether it is a president or a senator, the pride of most of our leaders is that Sundays or Fridays they can go to the mosque or they can come to the church, and this is a place where they get revived. Over time, and let me speak from the Liberian perspective, I had a meeting with the bishops because the president, she asked for restorative justice and I didn't get to. Asked me to lead the National Reconciliation Initiative, and that's the reason why I'm moving back to Liberia. But I've come to realize that we do not have a moral voice in that entire country. So I sit with the bishops from most of the churches, and all they're doing is lamenting. The government has done this. The government, and they're so cynical about reconciliation. And then I say to them, when did you all come to this place? Where is the Archbishop Michael Francis? Because that was the only moral voice at the time in our country. Why have we all slipped into the politics of this world? Gradually, even in this country, the church is losing its power to stand up and speak. One of the reasons why I feel, from my context, and it will be different from here, is because most of the vices you see out there exist in the church. The question I ask people every time I go to speak: how many times do you see bishops and pastors mount the pulpit and speak out against domestic violence? How many times do you see now? One of the practices of the church that I know, and I'm speaking to Liberia. They are happy to say at the end of the year, our bank balance is $20 billion. The question I ask myself, if we're followers of Christ, did he have a bank balance? Or was it for the betterment of humanity? These are things that you need to ask. The third thing, how can the church speak out against the politics of the world when bishops are changing constitution to be bishops for life? Everyone wants to, they're seated there. And then in the circular government, I know that if I oppose President Sirleaf, I become an opposition. And she will eventually be at loggerhead. And probably, if there are opportunities, because that's the way it happens, I may not benefit from it because I'm opposing the government. Usually that's how it happens. It's ingrained in the churches now. And if I may speak more specifically, even our Lutheran church bishop. I went to Sweden the other day and sat with the Church of Sweden people in a meeting, and I ranted for almost 2 hours. Because one of the things I said to their project, their program officer and coordinator, and everyone, I said, you know what? You can probably say Sweden is second globally with the number of women in parliament when it comes to women's rights issues is up there. But you still support a church and talk about the sovereignty of that church, where they have a constitution that says you can't be president of a women's organization if you're not married. And then you say, I don't want to get involved in the local functioning of the church. You can lay down key things and say, these are our rules and we'll go by them. Specifically for churches in this part of the world, if you have your partners and other people. But also it's important for the church to go back to being a social justice church. That Jesus, his ministry was a ministry of social justice. We're losing it.